Hello, you are listening to English edition of Konopný podcast dedicated to cannabis growing and another interesting information about cannabis. My name is José and I'm publishing books and articles on this topic for more than 12 years. I'm wishing you a pleasant listening. Hello, welcome to another English edition of Cannabis podcast. I'm in Ostrava in Czech Republic on Konopex trade show. And I met here an interesting guy, David from Vermont, and he is co-founder of company Cannatrol, which produce machines for drying and curing cannabis. And I have to say that it's very interesting stuff. And we had a really nice talk with David about how it works. And I think it's good to share this information also with you. So welcome, David. How are you doing?
Thank you, Mr. Jose. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. This event is awesome.
Yeah, great. This first time in Czech Republic?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and you enjoy it?
Very much so.
So you visited Prague and Ostrava?
Yes.
You can come to Pilsen as well, in my hometown. We make best beer in the world.
Oh, I'd like to try that.
Yeah, definitely. I will give you one later.
Okay.
Okay, David, tell me something about what I called, it looks like a fridge for wine, or you can keep wine in there for a long time, but it's something better than wine?
All it is a sealed box. We need an insulated sealed box, which a refrigerator, a wine cooler, a freezer, all of those products are a sealed box. So we start with that as the platform, but it's not so much we're trying to cool or heat the product in the sealed box. We're trying to maintain the right vapor pressure in the box so that the flower can dry to the right consistency, the right water activity. So it's properly dried and shelf stable and retain as much of the terpenes and everything that you grow the plant for. We want to retain those, which happens in the trichomes.
Yeah. That's right. That growing weed is like halfway, maybe not even halfway, but to reach the perfect product or perfect wheat, you need also to properly dry it and keep enough terpenes and everything what you want to have inside.
Right. You know, a lot of people forget you grow the plant, and it's not so much the plant. What you want to do is grow the little factories that manufacture the terpenes, the THC, the CBD, and all of that's happening in the heads of the cuticles. So you got to zoom really in tight with the microscope. And that's the reason for growing the plant. That's what the outcome we're looking for is terpenes, THC, CBD. That all happens in the heads at the cuticles of the trichomes. Now we want to capture that, and we don't want to destroy them in post-harvest. Now that we spent all the time growing an amazing plant to get them.
Yeah, that's right. You told me, when somebody hear about drying and curing, everybody think about moving the water out from the plants to dry them out simply. So usually we set up conditions where the relative humidity is lower and that we can reach combining the proper temperature and water content in the air. So tell me what's the difference in drying with your, how we call this small...
the cool cure. The Cannatrol cool cure, we call it.
Cool cure, okay. Because David tell us later that they don't produce only for small growers, but mainly for large-scale growers. So what's the different drying and curing weed in your setup?
That's a great question. So traditionally, how it's been done is drying and curing has been a two-step process. You take the flower, you put it in an environment to dry it, a low relative humidity, and you're constantly removing water. So at some point, you need to stop the drying process, and then take that flower and put it into a jar, a container, some sealed vessel. Otherwise, it's going to just keep drying and turn to dust. So that's step one is drying, and then you put it in the sealed container, and we call it curing. And also what happens is if you put it in a jar, a sealed container, and the drying wasn't completed, there was still free available water, the flower can go moldy. So what people would do is they would open up the vessel and call it burping. Well, it depends on what the environment is outside that jar when you open it. You might be letting in wet air. You might be letting in dry air. So there's not a whole lot of science to it. But it was this multi-step process. And there was guesswork. When do we arrest the drying and then move it into a sealed container? What we do is completely different. What we're doing is maintaining the right condition. We like to call it sous-vide for weed, where you just leave the flour there. It's going to come to equilibrium, just like cooking sous vide. It comes to equilibrium with the temperature. In our case, it's coming to equilibrium with vapor pressure. And then you can leave it there. You're not going to, like sous vide, overcook it. With us, you just leave it there and it holds. So very different. It's an analogy of cooking in an oven or cooking sous vide.
Yeah, great. So your dryer and curer is not working like the humidifier, right?
Correct.
So it means that you don't need too much energy to dry.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Our home unit only draws about 50 watts of power. Very low. It's great. Yeah.
And once it, how long does it take to dry and cure?
Okay. So we usually find it takes about 4 days for the flour to come to a target water activity of 0.6. And at a 0.6 water activity, you know you have shelf stability, that the flour can no longer support the growth of mold and microbes because there's no longer enough free available water. Then we like to see about 4 more days for equilibrium and really curing now to take place, which is going to be the transformation of carbohydrates to sugars to give you a really nice smoke. So at day 8, you've got amazing smokable flour, but you can leave it in there as long as you want.
Yeah, so you can not only dry it and cure it, you can also keep it for a longer time in there.
In store.
Does the amount of weed I put in a dryer influence the time of drying and curing? Because if I put there, let's say, 500 grams or kilo, it's a different amount of water which I give inside.
Okay, so that's an amazing, great question. So we know that the box can take up to 1 kilo of wet flour.
Okay.
And you're going to get that 4 days. You'll be at target water activity and hold it another 4 days. You can also put 1 bud in there. So it's no different. Now think about the sous vide again. If I've got 4 liters of water and I can put 1 little piece of meat in it, or I can put a couple of bags. Yeah. But at some point, you don't want to put so much in there that your tank of water overflows. So the same thing. You don't want to overload the box. When we say 1 kilo of wet material, don't put 2 kilos in there.
Yeah, it says, okay. Yeah. Understand. But the water should disappear somewhere, you know. So you are keeping the water inside the walls of the fridge?
What we're doing is we're taking, and because of the low vapor pressure in the box, the water in the flour leaves the flour as vapor, and then we've got a cold surface in there, and it condenses on that cold surface, and then the water leaves out the back of the box. Okay. So there's a little reservoir in the back of the box that collects that water.
That's what I wanted to know, because water have to...
No, we have to get on out. Yes, absolutely. We have.
If I keep their wheat for a longer time, should I put some water in there, or how you keep the...
So what we do is the unit has a little sponge, and you just need to keep that sponge wet.
Yeah.
And that helps rehydrate the box. And depending on how many times you open and close the door, what the weather is, the climate at that time. So in the winter, if it's dry, you might have to put water in the sponge a little more often than in the summer times. But every 2 weeks or so, we like to check the sponge, make sure it's a little bit damp. And what that does is, let's say it's dry climate, you open the door, the vapor pressure is going to instantly equalize with what's outside the box.
Yeah.
So when you close the door, you want the box to rehydrate back to the right vapor pressure.
Yeah.
So the water comes from the sponge instead of the water coming from your flower and causing it to overdry and become crumbly. And you don't want that.
If I use a small unit, does it smell during drying or curing process?
There's no smell because the box is sealed. It's vapor tight. Yes, when you open the door, you will get a little waft of, the terpenes and stuff. But what's interesting is because we're maintaining a constant vapor pressure, we're not causing trichome damage.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting higher terpenes. Lab tests have shown flower that's dried and cured with Cool Cure or our technology, even in a big commercial grow, you have 16% higher terpenes than conventional because you're not causing the terpenes, the trichomes, to be damaged and to lose that because it's just more gentle and stable.
You showed me some pictures of trichomes dried regular way and DO way.
Yes.
Can we see also these pictures on your website or?
Yes. Yeah. At the Cannatrol.com website,
Yeah.
all of our research is available. The CRC, Cannabis Research Coalition, has done a lot of the work for us.
Yeah. The link will be in description of this podcast, so you can find it under video or on the description in your podcast application. I wanted to ask you told me about some water activity. So you told about something water which is bound to weed and which is available to put away. Can you explain it?
Yeah. So water activity has been used as a unit of measure for decades. The pharmaceutical industry uses it. The food industry uses it. Cosmetics. What it talks about is how much free available water and bound water. The bound water is not available for microbes and bacteria to feed on and grow. Even museums want to measure water activity of rare documents because they don't want those rare documents and books and manuscripts to be consumed by mold. So they want to keep that water activity at a 0.6 or lower, and that means there's no more free available water for the microbes to feed on. And so that is an important value, and that's what we like to dry the flower to, is that 0.6. Once you start drying to values lower than 0.6, now you're removing bound water. And if you're trying to sell your product by weight, well, every molecule of bound water has value as weight on the scales. You don't want to remove that. So the 0.6, the microbial growth pretty much ends at 0.65. And we have graphs that show that. And these graphs are not unique to cannabis. These are graphs for all industries that are fighting molds and microbes and want a product that's shelf stable.
Does this goal, let's say, also meet the rules which should medical cannabis producers follow? For example, you have to have some amount of water.
Yes.
In some states, there are regulations how much water, water.
Right. Most regulations are using percent moisture, and they're not differentiating between bound and unbound water. And different cultivars will have different percent moistures at the same water activity. So we find that water activity is a more precise measurement because that's really going after your goals. You want shelf stability. You don't want free available water for microbes, where percent moisture is the total amount of water in the product, in the sample that you're measuring, whether it's bound or unbound.
Is it possible to measure bound and unbound water in the wheat for, let's say, like home growers? Is there a way how to find out which water is bounded and which is free? Which is available?
Unfortunately, water activity meters are rather expensive. They're lab-type equipment, and they run several €1,000 for a good meter. But with our equipment, we know with the settings, factory default settings, after the product's been in there for 8 days, it's going to measure 0.6. It might be 0.599, 0.601, but you're very, very close to 0.6. It's obviously equilibrium.
Interesting. And can we translate 0.6 to percentage or not?
There are rough numbers,
Uh-huh.
but it's not exact because of it's a plant and the cell structures.
Yeah.
And different cultivars will have different amounts of bound and unbound water for the same total percent moisture.
Yeah. But in general, can we say if it's
It's close.
50, or it's 10 or between 10 or 15, let's say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you could be losing several percent of your yield total weight. So I don't know if you're
100 kilo, 2 persons are lots of money,
in big facilities, 2, 3, 5% could be a huge amount of money.
Exactly.
For a home grow, not so important.
Yeah.
But on a big commercial project, yeah.
Definitely. If I'm right, in 1 ton, 2% are 20 kilos.
Yes.
So you can calculate.
Yeah. We like going to big commercial facilities, and we carry a water activity meter.
Yeah.
And we'll take a sample and measure it and go, all right, you're giving away 6-7% of your top line revenue because you're over drying.
Yeah. And the important thing is also to repeat that when you keep bound water, it cannot cause the molds and other bacteria growing. Yeah. So you can keep water in your wheat, but you don't risk any mold or any bacteria activity.
Right. This is microbial growth.
Yeah, this is very important to say because lots of growers trying to not to dry wheat as much, and then they can sell water for better money.
Not only are you getting weight,
Yeah,
it's a much better flour to smoke.
yeah. So but that makes the difference between not properly dried wheat, because you can also keep higher water content in wheat when you don't finish the drying process. And then you can sell it, but you are risk that there will be some microbial activity. Yeah?
That's right.
Yeah.
If people are smoking and they're hacking, that's usually a sign, and it's harsh.
Yeah.
Over-dried flour, especially if you take a bud and you go like this, and it turns to dust.
Yeah.
Where when it's properly dried, it should be sticky and supple. A good test is you put it on the table, you put your hand down, and if it sticks to your hand, that's nice.
Yeah, good. It's a good tip how to test if your wheat is properly dried and properly stored, because storing is another step.
Yep.
And your unit is making both of them. But for home growers, I can imagine that the home growers will use your unit for drying, curing, and keeping.
And storing, yes.
Because also if you invite your friends to your house and open such a nice box and put something good from there, it's also something what makes your meetings nicer. But in a large-scale facilities, they probably use it only for drying and curing, and then they move it to some packages.
Interesting you bring that up. We have large commercial facilities, and we build storerooms for them. And the reason is they can then ride the fluctuating price of the market. So if the price on the market is going down, they can hold it in rooms where we're maintaining vapor pressure, and then when the price goes up, they can release it. So they can sit on it for several markets, and it's called arbitrage on the price back and forth. People are also using our equipment for pre-roll machines. Up until now, a lot of the pre-roll machines would struggle with the moisture content and the consistency of the flour, especially if they were coming from different facilities and they were providing the pre-roll service. What they're now doing is they're grinding the flour, and they have one of the home cool core units right next to their pre-roll machine. And they will store the ground flour there, and then as the machine needs more flour, they're taking it out, and it's homogenized as far as moisture content, and the machines run all day. They don't have to reset them or anything. So it's a real interesting places that this technology is being used in the various places in post-harvest.
Yeah, interesting. I wanted to ask how long you can keep wheat in the unit.
All right, so we've had flour for over 2 years in some of the home units, and every now and then we take some out and smoke it, and it's like, wow, this is still really good. You know, you get some oxidation, you get some browning. So it's just now you're starting to think about wines. And yeah, some wines do better over time, but will that wine last for 50, 60 years? No. You know, I'm going to say flower, depending on the cultivar, after 6-8 months is probably going to start diminishing, but it's going to change from cultivar to cultivar. But we do know that flower that's been 2 years, it's not like, oh, it's over-dried, crumbled dust. No, it's still sticky and supple, browned a little bit. Does it smoke as well as the day it was freshly dried after harvest? That we need to do more research with people who have better palates than I do and, you know, our small group.
Yeah. My favorite way how to keep wheat for a longer time when it's properly dried and cured is to keep it in freezer. In large scale, it's also a little bit costly. You know, you have to pay for electricity for freezers. But in a home scale or a small scale, like freezed wheat can last really years.
Yes.
And keeping its quality. And I think there is also another kind of curing process during the staying in freezer.
In the bag,
and you are losing some, there's degradation chlorophyll also, so the wheat is getting a little bit brighter, but still green, not brown. So this is my favorite way, and I know that it works, and I also think that like freezing as a storage method will also be more and more popular in close future, because what I'm saying, what we see during the last 10 years in growing processes, that first the LED was like a big change for growers, you know, then also we started to focus more on CO2 and everything and the speed of photosynthesis, and I think at the moment the growing process is very well known. Every time there is a lot of things we can improve, and I believe it will be improved a lot yet. But we are on a good spot, and I think we are close to capacity of flowers in the end. But drying and curing and storing is very important. I think that on the markets where quality plays its role, that the growers will be more and more focused on it. So I believe that units like you bring on market will find lots of people who will want to use it. Because, for example, we are in Europe, there is no recreational market in the end, but we have like medical market when the quality plays not a big role at the moment, because it's very often people cannot choose it in the pharmacy. You know, they have prescription and they get something. Sometimes they can, but very often they cannot. So the producers are not very forced to make to take care about the flower after harvest. And the second problem is that the lifespan, or how long you can sell the wheat, is 6 months or 12 months, you know. So if you are a grower for medicinal market, so your goal is to sell your wheat as soon as possible after the harvest. So there is no space, like time space, for curing process or something like that, you know. So I believe also this will change in the future, where growers and post-harvester producers of post-harvester machines or methods will have enough trials made to tell governments, wheat could last, could be on the market longer than 12 months if you take care about it properly.
We're currently doing the shelf stability studies. In another couple of weeks, we hope to get the first results of some shelf stability about curing using our technology versus conventional, and how much better it lasts on the shelf.
It will be very interesting to see this result of this research. So I hope you will share it with us, and I will share it with you as soon as I will have them, and you can follow Cannatrols.com to be up to date about these trials, because it's very important to do trials, because in yeah, it's something else than subjective.
We're learning this. We're about the science. We want to learn the science behind this.
Right. Where your units are produced? It's produced in the U.S.
Yeah, we're producing them in the U.S. in Vermont, put up on by the Canadian border.
Okay.
And we've got about 20 people, and we ship all over the world.
Yeah,
We've shipped thousands of them globally.
So people can order directly by you.
Yep.
And
we're in the process of setting up distribution
in Europe.
Yep, as well. We ship quite a few, but we want to get more established now that we understand, who the retailers are and how to sell.
Yeah. If you are interested to buy such unit, you can visit the website I already mentioned, or you can write me private message, and we will definitely find a way how to get your unit to your hands. And I'm preparing also a test of this unit in cooperation with Cannatrol. So I will very soon show you how it works and how we dry and cure wheat in there, and how long does it take, and what's the quality of wheat we will get from the unit. I'm really looking forward for that.
Enjoy it.
Because, it's a nice machine in the end. It's like something like home growers will like, for sure.
What you're going to enjoy, one of the things we include with it are hemp bags. So after you finish your harvest, you can put them in the bags and leave them in the unit. And why we use hemp bags is they're vapor permeable. And then you can write on the bag the date of harvest, cultivar, and then you start building a library. So you open the door and you got 6-7 bags in there. It's like, what do we feel like smoking this afternoon?
I tell you the story when I started to grow for myself a long time ago. At the moment I don't smoke anymore, but when I was a young smoker, you can say, I said I will keep a piece of wheat from every harvest. But it was hard to get with weeds to next harvest. So I didn't have much. Any archive. Yeah. So, but maybe somebody have enough wheat to be through more harvest, keep their archive. David, is there something else you want to tell about the drying, curing process, or about your unit?
We're doing constant science and research to move the next step. As you said, growing the plant is pretty mature now. The art, the knowledge, and now the second half, post-harvest.
Yeah.
Really understand what's been going on, in the past, what the legacy methods were, why they worked, why they didn't work, what was the science behind when it did have a good outcome, and now how could we provide a technology that gives consistent, repeatable results and takes the guesswork and the risk out of it.
Make the process possible to be repeated every time, and to get to constant quality is very important. And I think it should be the same important also for home growers, because they can try different strains. We have lots of strains in the world at the moment.
So many. Yeah.
So many. So people can try everything much more than in commercial grow, for example, because if you want to change something in a large scale, it's a lot of work and you can lose a lot of money. So for these people, it's better to produce every time the same. But anyway, even if you are a home grower and would like to test many strains, you have to focus on to make all steps necessary to reach the perfect harvest, the perfect product. Yeah.
For a lot of people who grow to enter cups in competition, we're their secret weapon.
Okay. Interesting. Perfect. I'm really looking forward to see what your unit can do. I think we said already everything. Last question, do you have some message for people who listen to us?
No, just follow us on our website, the research we're doing, our technology, and it's time to really start smoking some amazing flower.
Okay, it's a great message at the end. Thank you for listening us. Visit my page also. You will see all the links in the description. I'm looking forward to see you by the next episode of the Cannabis podcast. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.